If your darts are inconsistent, changing your grip, stance or entire throw might actually make things worse. Before you rebuild anything, try these 5 simple fixes. Most are about making the throw you already have more repeatable. That sounds ridiculous. Obviously, you have to throw the dart, but a lot of players put far too much effort into making it reach the board. They force it. They try harder when they want more accuracy. And usually, that makes the throw less accurate. I'm guilty of this myself, especially when I'm playing for my pub team. If my rhythm starts disappearing, I sometimes feel myself trying to force the dart. And the harder I try to make it go where I want, the less natural the throw becomes. Your arm should accelerate smoothly. You're not trying to launch the dart through the board. The board is only 2.37 metres away. It'll make it. This is roughly the effort I want. Smooth, no rush, no big hit at the end. Now I'm deliberately putting more into these, and you can usually see everything becomes slightly more violent. The shoulder gets involved, the release can change, the follow-through becomes less natural. So if your throw suddenly disappears during a match, don't immediately start rebuilding it. First, ask yourself, am I simply trying too hard? This is a massive one. You throw a bad dart, so you move your foot slightly, change your grip, move the dart in your fingers, adjust your elbow, then throw something completely different. One bad dart has suddenly become a committee meeting. Instead, use the same setup as your reset point. Same foot position, same body position, same starting position with the dart. Then, throw again. This is my normal setup. My foot goes in the same place every time. My body sits roughly here. And my hand comes up to roughly the same position. I'm not trying to make every throw mathematically identical. I just want the setup to feel familiar. Now imagine I throw a 5. That doesn't automatically mean my stance was wrong. It doesn't mean my grip needs changing. Sometimes you just throw a bad dart. Reset. Same setup. Go again. The ability to return to something familiar after a bad dart is much more useful than constantly searching for a better throw. This is where I think a lot of newer players get darts backwards. They judge every dart by the number it hits. Treble 20, brilliant dart. 5, terrible dart. But that isn't necessarily true. If 3 darts land tightly together in the 5, your throw has actually done something very useful. It has repeated. If your darts are landing 20, 3, and 5, you might occasionally score more. But your grouping is telling you there's still a consistency problem. Instead of immediately adding up the score, look at the spread. How close are these darts to each other? Because once you can create a consistent group, you've got something you can adjust. You can work on alignment. You can change where you stand. You can make a small correction. But if the darts are scattered everywhere, there's nothing consistent to correct yet. So during practice, don't just ask, what did I score? Ask, how tight was the group? That stops every 5 becoming a personal crisis. And keep watching, because at the end, I'll give you a simple 61 challenge that combines all 5 of these tips. Your throw has a tempo, and when the tempo changes, your results often change with it. Some players speed up under pressure. Some slow right down. Some hesitate during the drawback. I notice it myself sometimes. The more I start thinking about where the dart needs to go, the easier it is for my natural rhythm to disappear. So during practice, pay attention to how your best throws feel, not just where they land. Watch the timing between these. I'm trying to let each throw happen at roughly the same pace. Now, I'll deliberately pause longer before one dart. It doesn't look like a massive difference, but it can completely change how the throw feels. You don't need to throw quickly. You don't need to throw slowly. You need a rhythm that you can repeat, especially when somebody is standing behind you waiting for you to miss double 16. If all you do in practice is throw at treble 20, you're practicing one small part of darts. Matches involve switching, finishing, missing doubles, coming back and trying the same double again, throwing after your opponent hits a big score, and trying to hit something important when your hand suddenly feels as though it belongs to somebody else. So some of your practice should actually resemble a match. And this is where the challenge comes in. Start on 61. You have 3 darts to finish it. If you don't finish, reset back to 61 and start again. Keep track of how many visits it takes. Now, I'm not only practicing scoring. I might need to switch targets. I might get a dart at a double. And if I miss, I know I'm going back to 61 again. That tiny consequence creates much more useful practice than endlessly throwing at treble 20. Once 61 becomes comfortable, try 81, then 101, and keep a record of your best result. Try the 61 challenge yourself. Start on 61 and keep resetting until you finish it. Then put your result in the comments. How many visits did it take? And if you take it out in one visit, congratulations. You've successfully ruined the average for everyone else. So if you want to play better darts, stop forcing the dart. Return to the same setup after a bad one. Judge grouping before score. Find a rhythm you can reproduce and practice situations that actually happen in matches. None of that requires a perfect-looking throw, and it doesn't require you to copy somebody else's technique. So before you change your grip, your stance, or your entire throw, try making the throw you already got more repeatable. Because your best throw isn't the one that looks perfect on camera. It's the one that still turns up when you're standing on 40 with somebody waiting behind you.